This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. Statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We're honored to continue and share the teachings of the founding father of science of epigenetics, Dr. Joel Wallach. All right. Hello, everybody. Let's open up that waiting room. Let people in. And yes, we are live. So if you'd like to join us, if you're watching us on one of our streams or even watching a replay or listening and you'd like to join us live, we are here Wednesday, Thursday, Friday from 12 to 1 p.m. Pacific, 1 to 2 Mountain, 2 to 3 Central, and 3 to 4 Eastern. And use your favorite search engine to figure out what time it is in your time zone if I did not mention yours. My name is Becca Dukes, and as a certified holistic health coach and a certified naturopathic practitioner and the director of student service for the Institute of Holistic Health, it is my honor and privilege to be a resource for an amazing community where we are providing information not only for the community, but you who are now part of the community as well, as we want to make sure people realize how empowered they are when it comes to doing things to help control, direct, and even make U-turns in your health journey. So folks, if you were invited by a specific person, make sure that you get back with them as they cared enough about you. Please care enough about them to get back and say, hey, thank you so much for sharing this information with me. I want more information, and let them know what you liked best about today's show. Now, if you're watching us on any of the social media platforms, please make sure that you follow and like us and put a comment. If there's a way to put a comment, let us know where you're joining us from and how you heard about us. So let's go ahead and get started, as today is Pharmacist Fridays. This program is sponsored by dailywithdoc.com, which has a lot of great information and articles to help you on this thing we call a health journey. But today's episode, you're going to want to lean into this, folks, because we're exploring fascinating and often overlooked connections inside the human body. So we're calling today the electric triad: brain, lungs, and the signals that feed the C word, cancer. Now, just as a reminder, this program is for educational purposes only. It's not meant to take the place of your primary care physician. So as you are listening, just be a sponge, take in the information, and allow your mind to help you make a better choice for you. So to help me with this topic, I have our good friend and our resident expert, Pharmacist Ben Fuchs, who is always bringing clarity, curiosity, and a whole lot of wisdom. And today, together, we'll be taking a look at a recent article that asks an important question. Are the electrical signals between the brain and lungs influencing how our body responds to stress, inflammation, and cellular changes? So folks, help me welcome to the screen the one and only, a great friend, a great mentor, Pharmacist Ben Fuchs. Hello, Pharmacist Ben. How are you today?
I'm good. Becca, how are you doing today? Happy holidays and all that stuff.
Well, I'm doing fantastic. And every day is a day to celebrate.
Every day is a day to be thankful. Did I talked to you since excuse me, since Thanksgiving?
Yes, you were on.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Well, I talked to you before the show today, but no, we haven't had a show since
Good.
Thanksgiving.
Well, I hope you had a nice
Before
Thanksgiving. And I sound good with my new headphones, huh? Sound like it.
Yeah, you're sounding great.
All right, good. I don't like the way they're
So
kind of weird
that's
looking,
going to
but
eliminate some of our people reaching out to me every show. I
saying, what the
had
heck did
5
he
or 6
say?
of them saying, his sound is horrible. Help him
No,
fix
do
it.
people say that?
They
Why didn't you
did.
tell me
I did send a text.
that my sound is really bad? That's funny. Nobody
Yeah,
said
you were
anything. I've been
muffled, but now you
okay.
sound nice and sharp and great. And
Okay, good. All
let's
right.
share some
So
information. And just for everybody, we're going to be talking about this topic, but if you've got questions,
yeah,
because Pharmacist Ben loves to make sure we're getting information to you
yes.
that is most important to you. So raise your hand. Let's have questions. If you're on a platform, you can put it into the chat, as I have our amazing team watching those different platforms to bring questions in from the field. And hello, Larry. Thank you so much for joining us. I see your comment there. So, Pharmacist Ben.
Yeah. So first of all, Maryland, 1986. Okay. I'm old enough, please. All right. Don't be adding 4 years to my birth certificate. 1986, I graduated pharmacy school. That's long ago enough. 1982, please. I'm 65,
Now,
going on 66, soon to be 76, and then 86.
1986. So you
1492.
graduated.
I
What?
graduated 40 years. It'll be 40 years in May.
Well, you
And
know what?
yeah.
Today is my oldest's birthday, and he's 37.
Oh my God. I've been practicing since before he was born. So
Yeah.
anyway, I've learned a lot in that time. And one of the most important things I've learned is that the whole drug thing is ridiculous. And while you can mask symptoms and occasionally you can actually do some good with pain pills, and I've always been a big believer in pain pills. I think everybody should have some Percocets or some Oxycontins or something in their medicine cabinet. No, I'm a big fan.
I'm allergic.
I'm a big fan. One time I know I probably told the story before, but when they wheeled me out of on the gurney out of the operating room when I had knee surgery, I remember hearing this voice, this disembodied voice going, morphine, morphine, like that. And I'm very glad they have pain pills and antibiotics occasionally, although there's problems there too. But really, the whole idea of using prescription drugs never made sense to me. Even in pharmacy school, when we learned we spent a lot of time studying adverse reactions and side effects and how you mitigate side effects and how the drug companies are always looking to make little tweaks and add certain atoms to drug molecules to make them less aggressive or less intensive. And it just never made sense to me to poison the body to make it better, to poison your heart, literally poison your heart in order to make it function better, to make you healthy. It's just so, I don't want to, it's just so backwards. It's so crazy. And we still do it. We still do it over and over and over again. As we talk about, that's the definition of insanity. We still go back. It's just craziness. When you have this whole other world of so-called alternative, which shouldn't be, but we call alternative health and alternative medicine, that utilizes non-toxic strategies, most importantly, nutrition, and nothing exemplifies the distinction or the difference between, on the one hand, the toxicity and the failure of pharmacology and medication. And when I say failure, I mean at addressing causes and addressing the real issues that are involved with our health challenges, on the one hand, and on the other hand, the incredible opportunities to use nutrition to help heal the body, then this whole issue of cancer. I don't even know if you can say cancer because they don't like you to say that word because they want to own that. And that's really what we're talking about when you do these, that I kind of tease you about, these little intros, not meant to diagnose, blah, 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 because they want to own it. The medical model takes threats to their financial hegemony very seriously. So you can't mess around with that. And nothing exemplifies that more than cancer. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Becca.
Well, I just wanted to point something out that so many people don't realize those pharmaceuticals that they're taking to help their heart are actually poisons and
No, they
toxic to the body.
literally poison the heart. Listen, a beta blocker or a calcium channel blocker, which are the mainstays of cardiovascular and heart therapy, literally it's in the name. They block the beta nervous system. And they don't just block it by asking nicely, they block it by poisoning it. That's how you block. When you hear blocker, or you hear inhibitor, or you hear suppressant, you're talking about something that is poisoning the mechanics. So you can't inhibit or suppress or block a biochemical response without poisoning it. That's the definition of a poison, literally. That's the definition of a poison. So anyway, I don't want to
Well,
belabor that point because we're going to talk about this article. Do you want to say something?
well, real quick. So a calcium channel blocker, does that block the body from being able to use calcium? And
It's right
doesn't
in the
that
name.
create deficiency?
Well, it's right in the name. You have cells, which by the way are not little circles, but we're going to make them a little circle. A cell's a blob. It's not a circle, but let's make it a circle. And then there's openings in the circle that, like a pore, you could think of, or channel, technically, that calcium goes in. Calcium is a major activator. You know, we think of calcium as a rock, a stone, like the skeletal system, whatever. And I'm pretty sure most people, when they think of calcium, unless they're chemists or biochemists or biologists, they think of calcium as something that's hard, right? Isn't that the visual that you have? I'm going to use you as a symbol for the viewers. Isn't that what you think of when you think of calcium, like rock, right? Well, that's
Yeah.
not calcium's main role. Calcium's main role is to activate things. It turns things on. And in fact, there's something called calcium toxicity, which is when you have too much calcium and then cells burn out because it's an activating substance. So the logic is, I should say first, calcium flows into the cell via channels, calcium channels. And then the calcium goes into the cell and initiates cell activity. Well, the geniuses in our pharmacomedical model think, well, what if we block that channel and calcium can't get through? Well, then everything will quiet down. Then the heart won't work as hard. This is the logic. The heart won't work as hard. And then we'll have it'll be easier for the heart if you're dealing with heart failure, for example. So the thinking is by blocking the activator, you make it easier on a heart that's already stressed out, that's undergoing cardiovascular disease or heart failure. Well, what? So we're going to shut down the heart? Well, how do you do this? How do you accomplish this blockade, this calcium channel blockade? You poison the calcium channel. You don't just kindly ask it. The drug poisons the channel. And this is idiotic. Idiotic. If you're a cardiologist out there, it's idiotic. But this is the model that we work under. And in fairness, if you're undergoing heart failure, then maybe you need to have the heart poison so it doesn't work as hard. But that's not that's not the best strategy. The best strategy is to figure out why is the heart in failure and strengthen the heart. And that's always going to involve the triangle of disease, always. It's that simple. But I digress because we're talking about cancer here. So I've always said this, and I will continue to say this, and everybody who's dealing with cancer or knows somebody who's dealing with cancer is just interested in the subject. Cancer is a survival response. A cancer cell is just like me and you and everybody else. It's just trying to survive. It's just trying to get by. Now, under most conditions, when a cell is poisoned or malnourished or hypoxic, and those are the only three things, by the way, that can go wrong with a cell, is lack of nutrition, lack of oxygen, or accumulation of toxicity. So when a cell is dealing with these kinds of stressors, there's a self-destruct program in the cell. And that self-destruct program is there to make sure that a cell that is weakened or dysfunctional or somehow not at its best doesn't reproduce. It's a survival response for the body. They call it apoptosis, and probably most people have heard of this. Apoptosis is a program, like an old Mission Impossible. Remember, this tape will self-destruct in 5 seconds. You guys remember that? No,
I remember.
I'm dating myself here. So this tape will self-destruct in 5 seconds. So that's what a cell says. It says this cell will self-destruct, and that's a good thing. That prevents the cell from reproducing. But every once in a while, a cell will sneak through and will not apoptosize or will not kill itself. It will sneak through, and instead, it will adopt a survival mechanism. And that survival mechanism involves rapid growth. Why? Because when a cell is dividing rapidly, the odds of it surviving, or of its line surviving, are higher. It's more likely that its line will survive by rapidly dividing. Also, by rapidly dividing, it's able to garner more resources. By rapid division, it can get more food, and specifically more energizing food. The problem is, number one, that comes at a cost. That rapid division comes at the cost of a functional cell. Yeah, it's rapidly dividing, but it's not able to grow or to mature to the point where it can make the substructure, the organelles, the little pieces inside. So the little pieces inside don't perform, and the cell in general doesn't perform. And yes, it's surviving, but it's surviving at a primitive pace, almost like a computer in safe mode. It can do the basics, but it can't do all the functionality. So you have these cells that are dividing, but they can't become organs. In order for a cell to become a liver cell or a bone cell or a pancreatic cell or an intestinal cell, it has to develop an infrastructure, an internal structure. Cancer cells can't do that. Yeah, they can divide and they can survive, but they survive at the cost of functionality. And that's why tumor cells don't form intestines or lungs or brains or livers or pancreases. They can survive, but they can't become high tech. They can't become evolved enough to form the pancreatic function or the liver function or the bone function. Yeah, they're surviving, but they're not functional. A cell that's surviving but not functional forms what's called a tumor or a neoplasm. And this is what cancer is. A cancer cell is a cell that is brilliant at surviving, but it's not functional. And what I think of is that the cancer cell is almost like talking to its owner, us, and says, look, you haven't fed me, you haven't breathed me or oxygenated me, you've been making me swim in my own poison, you've been putting drugs and alcohol and food preservatives, et cetera, into me. You know what? I'm not going to be a liver. Okay? Forget it. I'm throws up his hands. I'm not going to be a liver anymore. Forget it. Okay? I'm just going to divide. I'm on my own. That's basically what's happening. It's almost like it's sociopathic. It's like, forget it. You know, I tried, but this is what you give me? Cigarette smoke and prescription drugs, you know, and alcohol and McDonald's and fried oils. Forget you. And I won't, you know, and it gives it the middle finger and says, I'm going to go on my own. I'm dividing. And that's what it is. And don't blame the cell. What we do is we blame the cell. You stupid cancer cell, we're going to kill you. We're going to cut you out. We're going to do all of these strategies because you're stupid. And this is our outlook. This is the perspective. You're stupid. We're going to have a war on you. All the cancer cells trying to do is deal. And we're going to have a war on you. So the article I sent you represents the deviousness of these cells. What the article I sent, and I don't want to go too much into detail, but it's kind of interesting because a lung cancer cell, when it metastasizes, when it spreads, and how it spreads is another very interesting phenomena. We'll talk about that here in a sec. When the cancer cell metastasizes or spreads, and everything wants to survive, so it's going to spread, it goes into the brain and it hijacks the brain's electrical energy. It disguises itself as a nerve cell or brain cell. And then it hijacks the brain's electrical energy. This is brilliant. The survival response, whether it's macro like us or micro like a cell, is just so amazing. Everything wants to survive, and it's developed these strategies to do just such. And the article I sent you, I thought was interesting. It's a little bit, you know, in the weeds, so it's not necessarily practical, but it's just interesting to show how cancer cells are so brilliant. Now, I said earlier how metastases is another interesting phenomena, and this is very relevant for they call it devious lung-brain cancer connection. So pull it up. Can you pull it up a little bit? Pull it up. Keep pulling it up. It says down, just one, right there. This flagging expected cancers, but it kept returning something impossible. Genes for synapses, that's in the nerves in the brain, and glutamate receptors and neural signaling pathways were found in lung cancer cells. They found genes for the brain in the lung cancer cells. They said, what the heck's going on? Well, what's going on is the cancer cells are so devious, they're now disguising themselves like they're brain cells so they can use the brain's energy. Does that make sense, Rebecca?
That makes sense.
It's brilliant. And I just thought that was interesting, but it's not as practical as the next article that I sent you, which talks about, can you put that one up? This is just interesting because it just represents how brilliant the cancer cell is. But pull up the next article, if you don't mind. In the meantime, I'll tell you about this. Okay, no worries. That's not a big deal. The other one talked about how cancer is a response to cancer cells are a response to stress, which is what we just talked about. But the metastases aspect is also interesting and also relevant for people who are dealing with cancer or don't want to deal with cancer or want to prevent metastases. See, a cancer cell will metastasize. That means spread by drilling through a part of the body. It will actually make chemicals that will drill through a part of the body so they can spread. You know, a part of the body it drills through to spread?
The cell?
No, the cell will drill through a part of the body.
Oh,
It drills through the connective tissue. So cancer cells will, in order for them to spread, will drill through connective tissue so they can spread. So what does that tell you? That tells you that a major strategy for metastases is to strengthen the connective tissue, to keep the repair mechanisms, the connective tissue repair mechanisms active. And that's why building the connective tissue or using supplements that build the connective tissue have anti-cancer properties. And the most dramatic are the polysaccharides like fucoidan and beta-glucan. The raw materials for making connective tissue, that's the article, we'll talk about that in a second. The raw materials for making connective tissue have anti-metastases properties because they help strengthen the connective tissue against the drilling effect that a cancer cell will employ to metastasize. Does that make sense, Rebecca?
that makes sense.
Okay, and
So,
that's what's, I find that very interesting, and that explains partially anyway. There's other benefits to fucoidan and beta-glucan and pectins, modified citrus pectin, you may have heard of that, and various various polysaccharide molecules that build the connective tissue. That explains their anti-cancer partially. There's other effects they have, but partially explains some of the anti-metastases effects. And this is the article here that you put up there that talks about how the cellular response to stress, which is built in, is a part of the mechanism of the development of cancer. So it's just basically a cell that's trying to deal. It's not a bad cell. It's not a bad guy. It's just trying to survive. And so what is the implication there? Be kind to your cells. Love your cells. And cells don't ask for a lot. They ask for oxygen, they ask for nutrition, and they ask for a clean place to do their work. And that's it. And there ain't no drug, and there ain't no surgical procedure, and there's no medical device, and there's nothing in your doctor's magical bag of tricks that can feed a cell, oxygenate a cell, or detoxify a cell. They don't have that skill set. The medical professionals don't have that skill set, and the medical model doesn't have the tools, but we do. And that's the good news. We can do this ourselves. And so the answer to somebody dealing with cancer, and remissions happen all the time, is to feed the cell, to oxygenate the cell, and keep the cell clean. And if you think you're going to get benefits from chemo, you know, there are some chemotherapy, there are some cancers that are susceptible to chemotherapy, like Hodgkin's or testicular cancer. But for the most part, the success rate, the oncological success rate for the most common cancers is very poor, sometimes as low as 1 or 2%. But this is stuff we can do ourselves. Yes, ma'am.
so now you mentioned tumors. Not all tumors are cancerous.
That's correct. Tumors just mean growth. But growth itself is a coping mechanism. Not all tumor cells, some tumor cells are benign and they're just growths. A cancer cell is a malignant cell, and that's different than a benign cell. The growths themselves are a sign of insulin and estrogen and changes in the hormonal milieu. Remember, growth is the default state of a cell. It defaults to growth. It takes work for a cell to stop growing. You have to put the brakes on. The brakes require vitamins and nutrients and energy, if you will. And really, that's what we're talking about, is energy. Cells need energy. When we talk about oxygen and toxicity, and we talk about nourishment, we're talking about energy. It's all about energy. Energy is defined as the capacity to do work. And so everything's about energy, the capacity to do work. When cells don't have enough energy, they don't have enough capacity, that's when they switch on these alternative mechanisms. So I want to take questions, and I don't want to belabor the point here, except to say that obviously cancer is pretty much the most horrific diagnosis anybody could have, second leading cause of death. But because it's in the body's nature to heal, if you do the good stuff, you'll get the good results. And if you continue doing the bad stuff, you'll get the bad results. And if you continue doing the bad stuff, but you expect the good stuff to happen, you're insane by definition. Remember the definition of insanity: over and over, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Okay.
Yes.
That being said,
Let's go to Phyllis with her hand up, and then we have another question coming in from Jerry and Anna.
Hi
Hello,
there.
Phyllis.
Hi, Phyllis.
Hello, Pharmacist Ben. Got a couple of questions here. And
Yes, ma'am.
when you said growth is a coping mechanism, I think this first question is perfect for that.
Rapid growth is like out of
Okay.
control growth.
All
Growth
right.
is not a coping mechanism, although it can be. Growth is growth. You know, things grow, but rapid, out of control growth is a coping mechanism.
Thanks for clarifying that. This is for Kathy. She's 61, 5'3", 160 pounds.
I'm not fitting her for a girdle here. I don't necessarily need to know her height and weight. You know?
Right. And she has an enlarged thyroid gland on
She
her
could be
left
5'2", eyes of blue, or she could be 6'6". It doesn't really matter.
Well,
gotta...
at least we know she's sort of regular size.
Okay.
This enlarged thyroid nodule, I guess they call it, is not cancerous, and they're giving her two options: surgery, where half of the thyroid is removed, she would not need to take thyroid medication, or watch and wait. She also has fatty liver, cysts on her kidneys. She's not on any medications.
I have to breathe deeply here. So why don't we just remove her organs, and then we don't have to worry about the problem, right? Let's remove her thyroid. Let's remove her liver. Just don't go in and tell me you have a headache, because they'll cut off your darn head too. So,
piece by piece, right?
What is this? What planet am I on? Who the heck? Raise your hand out there if you think this makes sense, to take your thyroid out when it's enlarged. Your thyroid is enlarged because it's trying to find things. It's trying to find food. The major reason for enlargement, a couple reasons. One reason for enlargement is it's trying to pull out nutrients. So it's getting bigger so it can increase the odds of getting fed. Also inflammatory effects. But you answered your own question. You talked about fatty liver. What is fatty liver? Rebecca wrote a whole book on it. Becca, what's fatty liver for?
It's part of the metabolic syndrome, and
What
it has
point?
to do with
And in the
blood
terms of our
sugar
triangle of
issues.
disease, where is it? Point number 2 on the triangle of disease, probably point number 1 also, because the liver bridges the digestive system and the blood sugar system. The liver and the gallbladder, and also the intestine to a certain extent, they bridge they're the connecting points to the blood sugar system. So this woman is dealing with a blood sugar problem and an intestinal problem. When we have a thyroid issue, that makes it even worse, because the thyroid regulates the intestine and everything else in the liver. So you get this circle where your disturbances of the intestine and the liver lead to blood sugar problems, which lead to thyroid problems, which then further disturbs the liver and the intestine and the blood sugar, which leads to more thyroid problems. And you go in this circle, this downward spiral. They call it a negative feedback loop. It just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. So the logic of hacking out an organ that is as important as the thyroid is so idiotic that I beg the doctor to come on the call so we can talk to you. What are you thinking? What is the logic here? Because I got to talk to people who already understand this stuff. And so, I want to talk to people who are causing the problem, who are doing this. That isn't going to happen, because we beg doctors to come on and they don't want to come on, and I don't blame them. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, by definition, taking out part of the thyroid by definition makes it less functional, right?
Taking off your arm makes you less functional, no? If you cut off your arm, you're going to be less functional. So you cut off the thyroid, half the thyroid, you got half a thyroid now. Makes the problem worse. The idiocy is so self-evident and obvious that you have to be completely willfully blind not to see it. So pays for the Porsche, yes. And it also allows them to be big shots. And I don't want to be picking on individuals, because it's really the paradigm, the model. They think they're doing good things. And it's not, and they're good people. The medical folks, really, by and large, are beautiful people. And I've been in the medical business for 40 years now. They're by and large beautiful, beautiful people, especially the nurses, but the doctors too. So it's not really the individuals. And I'm very cautious about blaming individuals here, although it seems obvious. And I couldn't do pharmacy anymore. I couldn't dispense drugs anymore. I couldn't live with myself dispensing drugs. And that's why I had to stop doing it. So, there's that element, but for the most part, they think they're doing good, and they are programmed to do that. When I was in pharmacy school, they forced us to go tour Eli Lilly and Abbott. You had no option. You couldn't say no. So you could get the propaganda and you get programmed, and that's how it is. And they pay for things, and the whole politics of it. But I really want to be very careful about blaming individuals here. It's more about the paradigm. That being said, for this gal, she answered her own question essentially because she's got blood sugar problems, she got metabolic syndrome issues, probably starts at the digestive system, and even if it didn't start, which it almost 100% did, the digestive issues are going to be secondary because the thyroid regulates the digestive system. So, A, correct dysbiosis. Always correct this. That means messed up bacteria. DYS means disturbances. Biosis refers to bacteria. DYS glycemia, dysglycemia, refers to disturbances in blood sugar. So dysglycemia and dysbiosis need to be corrected. This is a woman that should be doing a food diary. We have a food diary at Critical Health News. Go on there and sign up for the newsletter. You get a free food diary. And start doing a food diary and start plotting out your foods and eliminating problem foods and eating foods that are much easier for the body to absorb and to digest and utilize and absorb, and liquids primarily, and make sure you get on all the nutrients for the digestive system, including I-26, Fucoid Z, digestive enzymes, collagen peptides, ultimate microbiome. There's a whole bunch. We got a whole longevity excels in digestive products. Get on the digest. That alone will make a huge difference, by the way. The next thing you want to do is you want to correct dysglycemia, disturbances in blood sugar. So healthy blood sugar pack, ultimate selenium, Osteomag, MSM, the MSM product, Fucoid Z. These are all blood sugar products. Drinking more liquids beyond Tangy Tangerine as well as water will dilute blood sugar. Anything you do for blood sugar. And then thirdly, make sure you're oxygenating. Make sure you're getting enough oxygen, number one, by slow, deep rhythmic breathing exercises. Get an app called My Calm Beat. And then also movement. It's not just breathing that oxygenates, it's movement of the blood. Remember, the blood is the bridge between all of these organ problems and where the disease shows up. The blood's the link. So keeping the blood circulating is very important. Reducing sugar intake will reduce the glycation of the blood. That'll help. Patching up a leaky gut will reduce toxicity from entering into the blood. That will help, but also just movement. Breathing, by the way, one of the reasons breathing, in addition to oxygen being a blood thinner, breathing pumps. Particularly if you diaphragmatically breathe, it acts like a blood pump. And for anybody dealing with heart disease, cardiovascular disease, or heart failure issues, you get a second heart by slow, deep breathing. You support the pumping action of the heart by diaphragmatically breathing. The diaphragm goes up and down and up and down, and it pumps the heart. So slow, deep breathing is very important as well. And then there's a couple things you also can do for the thyroid. If she's iodine deficient, and goiter or enlarged thyroid can be related to iodine deficiency. Iodine's found terrestrially. I'm sorry, iodine's not found terrestrially. Iodine's an ocean mineral. So if you live in the Midwest and you're not getting a lot of seafood, you could possibly be iodine deficient, and Ocean's Gold's got iodine, Fucoid Z's got iodine. So that might be something else that you want to consider. But given that she's got this history of liver issues, which points to metabolic syndrome, I'd say that's probably going to do most of the heavy lifting for this problem, for this issue. And get the book Metabolic. Is it called Metabolic Syndrome? Becca, I forgot the name of the book is. Yeah, get that book. Syndrome. It's a great book. It's easy. It's like really easy to read. It's a very small, it's like I don't know, 50 pages or so, but it's very, very easy to read. It's got wonderful information in it. And Becca, you did an awesome job along with Dr. Wallach on that.
Very, very helpful. And I'm wondering, once that growth happens, is it realistic that it will come down?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. It's not permanent.
All right. My second question is from Ms. Philly on YouTube.
Oh, Ms. Philly.
She wants to know your thoughts about doing a liver gallbladder flush.
Dr. Ariaza's liver cleanse is not only awesome if you're dealing with gallbladder or liver problems, but for everybody. Because even if you're subclinical, even if you don't notice a significant problem, most of us probably can use help with the gallbladder and liver. It's a great product. And I haven't heard from Dr. I used to see him all the time. I haven't seen him for a while, but he is a wonderful longevity resource, one of the best at longevity, and it's his product, and I'm a big fan of it. Yes, I would definitely recommend it.
I'm a fan too. I've done it many times. All right, Becca, back to you. Thank you, Ben, so much.
And I want to just add this. I've known Phyllis for now 30 years almost, and she looks exactly the same. And she's done everything, and she's been working hand in hand with Dr. Wallach, and as well as I've been working with her as well. And I haven't seen Andy lately. Tell him I said hello.
I sure will. Thank you
Phyllis,
so
Phyllis
much.
and Andy were among the first people I dealt with in the company, right, Phyllis?
Right,
When I was
that's right.
you remember me when I had long hair and it was black?
I always said you looked like a college student.
I did. I looked like a college student, right?
Right,
Those
right.
were the days. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All
I
right.
hear you. All
Thank you.
right, thank you.
Yes, Andy and Phyllis are amazing, amazing individuals. I just love and adore them greatly. Next question is coming from Jerry and Anna, wanting to know the best holistic way to control blood pressure.
Okay, so yeah, let's talk about blood pressure. And I hope it's not boring to anybody to repeat myself, because I do repeat myself, because it's kind of the same thing, basically. So here's the deal with blood pressure. Most blood hypertension, as they call it, most hypertension, elevated blood pressure, is said to be essential. When you hear the word essential in medicine, that means it's fundamental. Like an essential nutrient, for example, the essential vitamins, essential minerals, etc. They're fundamental. They're part of you. They're essential because you can't run your body without them. They're almost like they're integral components of your body. So they're essential. Essential tremors are said to be essential because to the medical community, they're part of you. They're just part of you. That's just who you are. You got tremors. That's who you are. Essential hypertension. And that's what most hypertension is. 95, 98% of hypertension is essential hypertension. It's just part of you, which means translation is there's no reason for it. It's who you are. It's essential to your nature. Like an essential oil is essential to the plant's nature. So when you hear the word essential to the medical community, it means it's essential to your nature. It's who you are. It's part of you. Well, clearly, that's idiotic. That's just on its face stupidity. But what they mean is we don't know. So now I'm going to tell you so you'll know more than your doctor. When the blood is not circulating correctly, which is everything, all disease is cell disease, but all cell disease is preceded by dirty blood. I call it dirty. Doctors call it hypercoagulable. Same idea. When stuff gets into the blood, it doesn't move correctly. And that's for good reason. Because if there's stuff in the blood, you don't want the blood to move correctly, right? Because it's going to deliver all that stuff. So part of the blood's response, the circulatory response to disturbances in the blood, and you want to think of the blood as an organ, not like it's just liquid. It's not like a watery liquid that kind of flows around. It's a very complex, very tightly controlled organ with just the right pH and just the right oxygen and just the right heat and just the right fluidity and just the right components. Everything's balanced tightly, but when stuff gets in there to disturb it, one of the body's responses, it'll kind of slow down. And when this happens over and over and over again, eventually the blood doesn't move well. When the blood doesn't move well, it doesn't deliver nutrients, it doesn't deliver oxygen to the tissues. One of the brain's job is to read the tissues, read the organs, read the glands to see what the oxygen level is, what the nutrient levels are. And the brain is reading all these organs, the spleen and the lungs and the heart and the intestine and the adrenals, etc. And it's saying, oh my gosh, there's not enough oxygen. There's not enough nutrients. We got a problem here. So what does the brain do? Because the brain and the body are brilliant. What's the adaptive mechanism to lack of oxygen or lack of nutrients? Logically, turn up the pressure so you get more water coming through the hose, right? A garden hose, the analogy of a garden hose is always instructive when it comes to the circulatory system. So you think of a garden hose, the water's not flowing. What do? You're watering your lawn and the water's not coming out of the pipe or out of the hose. What do? You turn up the pressure, right? So now, is that a difficult concept? Of course not. So now tell your doctor so you can explain when he says essential hypertension, you go to your doctor and you tell him, okay? And say, do you understand, doctor, now? Does that make sense to you, doc? Okay? Explain it to them, because what do? What do? They turn down the pressure. The body's like, no, turn up the pressure. And the doctor's like, no, turn down the pressure. The body's like, no, I need more oxygen. And the doctor's like, no, you're stupid. I'm smart. I went to medical school. We're going to turn that down. And so you end up with what they call in the business sequelae. Sequelae is like a sequel to a movie. It's secondary effects that you're never going to associate with the beta blocker that's lowering your blood pressure, because now your liver is not going to get oxygenated and your liver is going to suffer and you're not going to make the connection. And this is why beta blockers and I'm picking on the liver, but it could be any organ. This is why beta blockers and calcium channel blockers and antihypertensives are so dangerous, because you're going against what the body wants to do. Now, in fairness, high blood pressure is very disturbing. It disturbs the inside part of the vessel. In fact, here's another, we could go on and on about the craziness of this medical model. Do you ever wonder why cholesterol deposits and blockages only occur in arteries and not in veins? So you have a circulatory system. You have a circulatory system like a big circle, right? So from the heart, it goes through the arterial system, the blood gets delivered, and then it returns through the venous system, comes back to the heart, and there's a big circulatory system, right? So why is it that cholesterol deposits only occur on the front end and not on the back end? Why does the blockages only occur on the front end and not on the back end?
Well, the front end is it's delivering oxygen throughout the body.
So what's that got to do with cholesterol?
So, well, is that where the food is being absorbed into the blood first?
What's that got to do with cholesterol? Why would cholesterol deposit in the arteries and not the veins? Anybody out there want to answer that? Anybody know?
AJ knows.
AJ.
Well, veins.
Because AJ listens. AJ's a listener. He remembers everything I say.
They have a valve.
No valve. Not the valve.
The veins have.
They all got valves. That's not the point. But so why is it they only have in the front end, not the back end? Anybody? I mean, anybody wonder that? Isn't that interesting? Why would that be? The body's not stupid. There's reasons for everything. Why would that be? Well, I'll tell you why. And you could tell this to your doctor. Okay? Where do you think you have more pressure? In the front end or the back end? Where's the pressure going to be higher? From the heart or to the heart? Obviously, because it's right next to the heart. When you have high pressure, you have a greater incidence of injury. The high pressure injures the arteries. So the body says, it's the Band-Aid. It's the patch. There's no Band-Aid. You don't need a Band-Aid in the venous system. It's the Band-Aid. The problem's not the cholesterol and the idiocy of stopping the body from making this molecule because it's Band-Aiding is just, it's flabbergasting. The stupidity is just flabbergasting. Now, if you understand what I just said, go to your doctor, say, Doc, sit down. Let me explain this to you. Okay? The reason I've got cholesterol plaques here is because the blood is so sticky and viscous. As it's being pushed through, it's damaging the vessels. When the vessels get damaged, the interior, they're called endothelial, the cells of it's called the endothelium, and the cells are called endothelial cells. Endo means inside, thelia means surface. The cells on the inside of the surface, the endothelial surface, get damaged. When they get damaged, they release chemicals. All cells release emergency chemicals when they get damaged. Why do they release emergency chemicals? The emergency chemicals, they're like, you've heard of the term cytokines, for example. These emergency molecules, they recruit Band-Aids. This is so brilliant. The endothelia gets damaged from the blood, from the high pressure and the toxic blood, the sticky, viscous blood, and they release signals, help, damage, repair. Come on, guys. Is that not the coolest thing? This is so cool. They're like send signals out, literally chemical signals. And so cholesterol gets shunted into the immune cells, start carrying things to patch things up. How amazing is this? It's so amazing. And so what do our brilliant people, pharmacomedical people do? They say, well, you got cholesterol deposits, let's shut down the cholesterol. Not let's figure out what's wrong with the blood. Not let's clean the blood up so it doesn't damage the endothelium as it's passing through. We stop the cholesterol. The reason I'm saying this, the question was about high blood pressure. The reason I'm saying this is the reason you have high blood pressure is because the blood is not moving correctly. It's too sticky. It's too viscous. And it's too sticky and too viscous and it's too coagulated because it's dirty. So for high blood pressure, you work on dirty blood. Now there's a couple other things you do too, but the first thing you do is you work on dirty blood. And by dirty blood, I mean leaky, you know, I'm gonna say the same thing. I just keep saying it, leaky gut and glycation, digestion and sugar. Okay, that's number one. There are also nutrients that will support the flexibility of the vasculature to keep the vessels opening and closing correctly, and also to patch up the vasculature to keep the endothelium healthy. And those are things like vitamin C and the B complex and electrolytes, more fluids. So I get on the healthy blood sugar, a healthy brain and heart pack, throw in the sugar nutrients from the healthy blood sugar pack, and patch up a leaky gut. You can also support blood fluidity through oxygenation. You're really working on blood fluidity. You're improving the movement of blood for hypertension. The strategy for hypertension is to improve blood fluidity and also the vascular flexibility, because you want the circulatory system, the vessels flexible. They can open and close. As we age and as we become toxic, they become stiff. And when they're stiff, they're more prone towards damage. That's why trees in a storm, they survive when they can bend over, when they're flexible. If they don't bend over, they break. So you want your vasculature to be less stiff, and there's nutrients for doing that, particularly fatty nutrients, especially your ultimate EFAs, which not only will improve the flexibility of the blood vessels, but they'll also improve the fluidity of the blood. So ultimate EFAs are always going to be important in that regard. Osteomag, ultimate niacin, both have vasodilating effects, and then oxygenation and fluidity. Hypertension needs to be regarded as a blood problem, like all health challenges.
So now the vessels and the veins, they're made up of connective tissue.
Largely. Also endothelial tissue, as we said, but yes, connective tissue.
So collagen is going to be helpful for that
Collagen
as well?
peptides, absolutely. Your collagen peptides, your TMR shake, all of that, yes.
And we do have a question. Who has
Is
the
all this
best
making
collagen?
sense, by the
What's
way,
the
you
best-
guys? Are we making sense here? Gotta get my fan going.
I think we're making sense.
Well, I want everybody,
Absolutely.
52 participants. Raise your tell if
yes,
that doesn't make
52
sense. If anybody out there doesn't understand it, let us know and we'll explain further. Donna says
So,
yes.
well-
Thank you, Donna.
Let's go to the next question. And we've got Jay in Florida making a lot of great comments. Thank you
Yeah.
so much, Jay.
Yeah.
And the next question, Keely, go ahead and where's the unmute? Unmute yourself, please. Keely, can we hear you?
Can you hear me?
Hi, Keely.
Yes, ma'am.
How are you,
Can't
dear?
see you, Keely. Keely's been a regular here. Hi, Keely.
How are you? Okay, got actually two things, but one of them is really sort of sad. It's
Yes.
a 28-year-old young girl that I met, actually having a conversation on the internet. She ended up, they diagnosed her with gastric cancer. They went
Okay.
in and they did the surgery. And of course, they don't wake you up before they tell you what they're going to do to you.
Oh,
They
no.
took out, are you ready?
No, I don't know if I'm ready.
90% of her stomach. And the problem with that is that she's left with 10%. She went from 268 pounds to 223 pounds in 9 days.
Okay,
Of course,
well,
they put her on Insure. She can only take in
all right,
one
don't
ounce
tell
at
me
a
the
time.
bad news. Tell me the question.
Okay.
I'm gonna.
Well, the issue is that, you know, they say that she basically is not going to make it.
well, yeah, they took out 90% of her stomach. You know.
They
So
did create sort of like a sleeve for her,
Okay.
but the issue is that is there any way to give her any form of
Liquids.
nutrition?
Yes, liquids.
But
Liquid
she can
soup,
only take an ounce at a time.
then an ounce at a time. Whatever she can do. Concentrated
What about,
liquids, chicken soup, aloe vera, fucoid Z, or fucoid Z in water. I'm not a big fan of the ZRadical just because of all the sugar. Fucoid Z in liquids, and just liquids. Beyond Tangy Tangerine, of course. Liquids.
what about absorption, considering she doesn't have 90% of that gut?
Well, she doesn't.
I mean,
It's the stomach.
giving her minerals.
Well, hang on. You said the stomach, right? The gut. Not. She has the
Yeah,
intestine.
the stomach. Yes,
Okay,
sorry.
yeah. So she can absorb. She just can't process. Okay. So the stomach is crunching things up and processing it, making it easier for absorption at the level of the intestine. So liquids will bypass some of that issue because they'll be pre-digested in essence. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So vegetable juices, get a Vitamix, and the polysaccharides in the vegetables will help heal. She maybe, I don't know how She may have SIBO issues, so you got to be a little careful with the fiber, but an ounce should be okay. Liquids, liquids, liquids. Liquid protein, TMR shake, chicken soup or bone broth, as I say. Liquid protein is going to be very, very important because she's going to be she's running high risk of protein deficiency, and she needs protein to heal. So liquids, liquid protein, aloe vera, polysaccharides.
The only way to protect the organs, huh?
Anything you could do for polysaccharides and protein, liquids, and beyond Tangy Tangerine.
Okay,
I'm
we'll
sorry.
take
I'm
it
very
there.
sorry to hear that. How old is
Yeah,
she?
very son.
Was she young?
28.
That's just heartbreaking. It's absolutely heartbreaking.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and everybody listening out there, if you know people who are considering these kinds of things, send them to us before they go through the surgical procedure, because we can help this gal a little bit, but we can really help you before, not after. So if you're one of the 52 folks out there listening or on the call somewhere, and you know somebody who's having these kinds of issues, send them to us so we can prevent the problems rather than having to correct or reverse them.
Okay, the next one, and the last one for me is this is a 58-year-old. He's a pastor. He has bladder cancer, a lot of damage from the chemo and the radiation. Here's where he's at. Medical system can't do anything else for him. They say that there's no cancer cells that are present in the bladder. However, the bladder is shedding, and obviously there's no. Let's put it this way. He's in screaming pain 24/7, and there's no medication to give him other than knocking him out because it can't work. He has been from doctor to doctor to doctor, 10 of them already, and excruciating pain, literally screaming.
It's terrible. Yeah, it's terrible. That's terrible. I don't know. If he doesn't have any cancer cells, then he's probably dealing with dissolution of the tissue.
Yes.
The tissue's probably breaking down.
He said it's shedding, and they said that the nerves are sort of exposed, and there's nothing that they can do.
Probably not. There isn't anything you can do, and that's honest, and that's legitimate. You want to be building the matrix. The body's, we always talk about the cells, and for good reason, but the cells live in the matrix, right? The matrix is Latin for mother or for womb. And so the matrix is the womb that cells live in. After cancer, post-cancer, it's very likely that the matrix is deteriorating, and that can be very, very painful. And that's one of the reasons when people get older or right before they die, they have severe pain, is because they're basically dissolving. And it's not the cells that are dissolving, it's the matrix that's dissolving. The matrix is made up of collagen and polysaccharides and something called proteoglycans, which are proteins and sugars together. So this is a job for all your proteoglycans and polysaccharides like Fucoid Z, algae, aloe vera, vegetables, anything with this mushy polysaccharide material, also collagen peptides, also TMR shake. Vitamin C is the rate limiting step. You can't make connective tissue or matrix without vitamin C. So high doses of vitamin C. I'd be doing IV vitamin C if I was this person. And by the way, IV vitamin C actually can have some pain relieving properties, in addition to anti-inflammatory properties. So I'd be getting intravenous vitamin C from a naturopath. In fact, I'd be doing intravenous connective tissue building proteins. The connective tissue proteins like glycine, you may want to supplement with glycine also. That's in your no, not the pig pack. Do we still sell the pig pack?
Yes.
The pig pack. Get them on. Get on the pig pack. Get on the pig pack. The glucogel. Thank you. That's another important one. Anything you could do for arthritis. The way our arthritis supplements and arthritis strategies and protocols work is the same. It will have the same benefits for matrix issues like this gentleman's dealing with and metastases, like we talked about earlier, as well as for arthritis. So even if he hasn't been diagnosed as an arthritic, using those kinds of supplements will help.
And how long do you think before he would have a relief?
Well, I don't know how bad it is. It's hard to say, but he should notice
it's bad.
His body can start recovering very, very quickly. How fast the pain goes away, I can't tell you because I don't know where he's at, but he can start, the tissue recovery process can begin very quickly. Okay, and great. Also, of course, it goes without saying, but I should probably say it anyway, if you continue doing the same things that are disturbing the metabolism, the metabolic system that caused the problem in the first place, it's going to be like bailing water out of a leaky boat. As long as you have that leak in there, yeah, you may be able to bail water, and so you don't sink, but you're not going to go anywhere. So if you're smoking, if you're eating McDonald's, fried fats, French fries, junk food, and all the things that caused the problem in the first place, it's going to be difficult to reverse the condition. But if you patch up that leak by avoiding all of those things, and then in conjunction, build up that matrix with what we just talked about, the glucogel caps and the Fucoid Z and the aloe vera and all the things that we just talked about, it can happen very quickly. The combination.
If
And
you
don't
heard
forget
him
don't forget activating. We haven't talked about this today, although we kind of implied it, but we haven't literally said activating the parasympathetic nervous system, the relaxation nervous system, the calming nervous system. Healing lives, recovery lives, growth and repair live in the parasympathetic realm, the realm of relaxation. So the more you're living in the realm of sympathetic activity, the emergency realm, it's going to be much harder to recover and to heal, because there's no, when you're in an emergency, the body doesn't care about healing and recovery. And emergencies in the year 2025 are not lions and tigers and bears like they used to be. Emergencies are credit card bills and dysfunctional relationships in the New World Order. That's the new lions and tigers and bears, you know? So you got to eliminate the stressors and the stress response. And as a pastor, one of the best things you could do, you know this, I'm sure the pastor knows this, is praise God and activate spirituality as best as you can. Activate grace as best as you can, because that's where the healing, that's the realm of healing chemistry, is parasympathetic relaxation response and gratitude.
They're spending most of their time there. They're forced to, because it's literally, he's in excruciating pain, 24/7, no relief.
And exactly, which the last part is what the most important thing is there's no relief.
Right. None.
There's no relief. There's nothing that can relieve it. Even pain pills can't give you full relief. Yeah, even they can't do it, and they'll just knock you out anyway.
Yeah. So, okay. Thanks, Ben. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Let's
do one more
Thank
good
you
one.
so much, Keely. Pharmacist Ben, back to blood pressure. Jerry and Anna want to know, will nitric oxide or beet powder help?
Yes, cardio beets and nitric oxide, also arginine, which helps you make nitric oxide. Absolutely. Vitamin C, by the way, topically, for people who are worried, who are dealing with aging of the skin, one of its mechanisms is it stimulates nitric oxide. Internally, it does the same thing. So yes, absolutely. That's a great point.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. And AJ, and do you have a hard stop, Ben?
Yes, I do.
All right. You got 1 minute.
Pharmacist Ben, how are you today?
I'm good. Good to see you, AJ.
9 p.m. on Monday?
I think, 9 p.m.
You had great coast to coast the other night. That was fantastic.
Thank you. Was it fan?
Yeah, you got a thing. You and
George
have a real
I like George.
connection.
Yeah, George. Yeah, I think he likes what we're doing.
You got
Seems
good
like he. Yeah, thank you.
By the way, MZ is on Facebook, so say hello to MZ.
MZ.
Yeah.
No, MZ should say hello to us. Come on, MZ.
Yeah, I told him to come in, but I don't see him.
Shy.
I don't see him in. But we have a 52-year-old female, 5'6", 220, experiencing.
Hey, what is this height and weight thing you're doing?
Height and weight, because this is what Dr. Wallach taught us to identify immediately metabolic syndrome.
Okay, that's good. 5'6", 120, you said?
220.
Metabolic syndrome. Boom.
I'm experiencing numbness in my fingers on the left hand. How
old is this person? How old is this person?
She is 52.
Okay, she's too young for this. That's something that for old people like me. It's called neuropathy. That's a sign of swelling and inflammation that's affecting the nerves. And that's secondary to blood sugar issues. Neuropathies and blood sugar issues go hand in hand. So you got to get on the healthy blood sugar pack, and you got to work on all the blood sugar stuff. And I think we have that on our Triangle of Disease website. And MZ, you should check out the Triangle of Disease website. So why don't you send it to MZ?
I'll make sure John
Triangle of Disease website. And then also for quick fixes, and may work for quick fixes, is the B vitamins from Beyond Tangy Tangerine, especially vitamin B1, which in my opinion is the most underappreciated of all the essential vitamins, vitamin B1. It's almost like put it this way. Vitamin B1 was the first vitamin that was discovered at the turn of the 20th century, in the late 19th century. Vitamin was discovered, and it was discovered when they noticed that people who were deficient in certain foods got neuropathies. So thiamine itself was discovered as an anti-neuropathic vitamin. So that might help you. You'll get it in Beyond Tangy Tangerine and also in the Ultimate Multi, a few other products. And then also alpha lipoic acid. you might want to try that, high doses of alpha lipoic acid. But really, you don't want to look at this as kind of a problem to cure as much as a systemic metabolic issue that you want to correct. Even if you did cure your neuropathy, which is unlikely, but even if you did with a supplement, you would still have this whole metabolic issue that's leading to heart disease and cancer and autoimmunity and Parkinson's and Alzheimer's and all these other horrible things. So even if you were to find like some kind of curative, which doesn't really exist, supplement, if you don't correct the metabolic problem that's causing the issue, you're running higher risks of misery down the road. And that's why you really want to treat this as a systemic blood sugar issue, which takes you back to the digestive system. And that, again, is the triangle of disease.
And it sounds like you just, if I translated what you just said, it sounds like don't fix the fruit, fix the root.
Go to the root. Absolutely, AJ. Thank you. It's about the root, not the fruit.
That's right. Awesome. Thank you so much. Lynn says great examples. Marlene says, yes, it makes sense.
Awesome.
Jay is sending kisses. Thanks, Jay.
Jay, all right.
Christy says, all
AJ
makes
will
sense.
take those kisses, AJ. I don't want to do it.
Man, you know you love it.
Yeah. All right, go ahead.
Well, you know, folks, we just want to say thank you for being here with us. And we shared so much information that you're not going to hear anywhere else. Especially not from somebody in a white coat, even though he's wearing a white shirt today.
Yeah, that's right.
Take notes. And the nice thing about it is you can go back and listen to this again. Just go to whether it's Critical Health News or Daily with Doc on either YouTube or Rumble or Facebook. We are here for you and making sure that you have information that is empowering,
By the way,
helping you help yourself.
By the way, much more than 100 people watching live right now. So.
Oh, is that right? It says 50. I got 50 here. More.
But that's who's in the Zoom room.
Okay, we got 100 people. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. God bless everybody,
100.
And we'll see you on Monday.
All right. Thank you so much, Pharmacist Ben. And yes, Monday, Pharmacist Ben Bites with Pharmacist Ben and AJ, one of our co-hosts. So happy that we're able to bring Pharmacist Ben to you twice a week because he has so much knowledge, practical knowledge, as you heard today, and how we can take and use nutrition to support the body instead of poisoning the body, folks. Just, it does not make sense to me to poison the body so the body can't function properly. Let's nutrify the body so the body can do what it was designed to do. And that's not just barely survive, that is thrive. Well, I just want to say thank you, everybody, for being here live with us here in the Zoom room. Those of you who are watching on all of the different platforms, cheers to you. Make sure that you share this program with somebody else. Like it, share it, subscribe. You don't want to miss another episode of Daily with Doc and Becca. Also, go to our website, dailywithdoc.com, sign up for our newsletter, and make sure that you are getting more information delivered right to your email on how you can help yourself and not miss an episode. My name is Becca Dukes, and again, as a certified naturopathic practitioner, certified holistic health coach, and director of student services for the Institute of Holistic Health, it is my honor and privilege to offer this information and training to you as well. So if you'd like to become a certified holistic health coach, get more information about that by going to coach.dailywithdoc.com. That's coach period, dailywithdoc.com, and become a certified holistic health coach like the other people that are on the screen with me. I just am so thankful that I have individuals who are like-minded, who want to truly help others not just survive, but thrive. Like we have Albert joining us from South Africa as he's letting people in. Thank you so much, Albert. We have Phyllis, like Pharmacist Ben said, they've been working together almost 30 years as she and her husband, Andy, were very instrumental in getting Dr. Joel Wallach, my mentor, who I was honored to serve with, side by side. He is still alive, folks. He's just taking vacation. So don't be stressing about that, as he is doing very well. But Phyllis and Andy were very instrumental in getting Dr. Wallach on the show with the Dead Doctors Don't Lie, radio with Dead Doctors Don't Lie radio program. Thank you so much, Phyllis. We have Marilyn, who, if you're not here live with us and have that chat open, you are missing one of the best note takers, I'm going to say, in the world. Thank you so much, Marilyn, for putting that information in there, which Phyllis does as well. She adds more information, and AJ's trying to do hearts. Yes, we're going to send everybody some hearts. There we go. Because we do have a heart for others. And we have AJ. Don't give up, AJ. You can do it. There you go. Who has been very instrumental in helping us get this program out on all the different platforms, whether you're watching us video or listening to us through audio. I just want to do a great big thank you to AJ for pushing me to get out on all these platforms. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And folks, share this program with somebody you know, whether you like them or not. At least you'll be doing something good today and every day. Until next time, bye for now. This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. Statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We're honored to continue and share the teachings of the founding father of science of epigenetics, Dr. Joel Wallach. This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. Statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We're honored to continue and share the teachings of the founding father of science of epigenetics, Dr. Joel Wallach.